My feet hit the ground running, soaking in mildew grass. My heart pounded so loud it was like an African drum circle echoing in my ears. My blonde hair waved wildly behind me in the rough sea salt air. The night sky was an endless canvas of black. Storm clouds covered the twinkles of light that usually shone like beacons of hope. Wrapped up in my panic, I lost sense of direction. I screamed loudly as a clammy hand grabbed the heel of my foot. Face down in the pool of mud below me, my knees became raw. Rocks in the mud had torn through my skin. My tormentor dragged me back to his house, and I wailed in despair and cursed him with every word known to man. My insults and pleas fell on deaf ears. He was too gleeful at the fact I was in his possession again. The townsfolk knew of the rumors. This monster was legend. He lived in an old rundown shack on a deserted road near the outskirts of our tiny town. The townspeople all said he had been a nice fellow some years ago, and by that I mean centuries. He helped with charity fundraisers for the development of science and cures of disease. He used to be a surgeon, you see, or so he had told everyone when he had first moved to the area. Apparently, the big smoke had got too much for the man and his wife in big old Sydney, so he had moved up to the north coast for a quieter slice of life. I lived in a small town between the bush and the sea. The roads along the coast were wide and barely lit. Apart from the town's main street and the houses that skirted around it, the town was never busy or overly populous. We were a small number of 800 people. And on my walks home from my afternoon job at the local newsagent, I would cut through the fields towards the beach and the houses that backed onto it, the shortcut to my home. Tonight, I wasn't so sure I'd make it though. All seemed well until his wife was murdered. No one knows how his wife met her end. Over time, people's suspicions grew more and more bizarre. Some say he grew senile. Some believed he always was. I felt the ground become cold and hard. I was back in his dungeon, an old steel shed teeming with rust and holes in countless places. The only source of light shone from a dated light bulb, fluttering rhythmically. 2 quick flashes, 1 long beam, 2 quick flashes again. I focused my eyes on the light simply because it was the only object in the room that did not scare me. On the walls hung worn and used tools, all rusted and a copper colour. The bench tops were covered to the brim with jars of pink and white squash contents. He concentrated on strapping my hands tight to the steel frame, bounding them with electrical tape and what felt like a never-ending reel of rope. When his face matched up to mine, I noticed the increased wrinkles on his skin, the long hook of his nose, the broken dry lips stitched on his face, the nervous twitch of his tongue that probed from his mouth, and the ragged white hair that hung from his head. But most of all, the wild and electric nature of his grey eyes. They stared so intently at me, I almost was led to believe he would not hurt me. As surprising as that moment had come, it passed. He turned away from me to his wall of toys, almost making a game out of which one might possibly cause me the most pain. A second later, he made his choice. Fresh tears sprung to my eyes when I saw the gleaming silver blade of a dagger in his saggy hand. The joyful glint in his eyes and the ever-growing grin could not be hidden for the sake of me. I felt his fingers push back my blonde curls as though this was an act of comfort and some sort of remorse for what was about to occur. He smiled once again, peering over at me, and spoke what were the first words I'd ever hear him say, and the last ones I would ever hear. I made the best decision of my life moving out here. My wife never did seem to adapt to the country. She was also blonde, and so very beautiful. You remind me of her. I wonder if you'll scream as loud as she did. Not like it matters. No one will hear you anyway. His laugh flowed like water from his lips. He brought down the dagger cutting into my skin. I focused on the light above me as guidance to what I hoped would be a better ending than the one I was facing. I reminded myself of its pattern for a sense of merit. 2 quick flashes, 1 long beam, and 2 quick flashes again. Whether I screamed louder than his wife, I'll never know. I never saw anything else after the first beam.